really your opinion right now on maybe the pressure he may feel or not feel, or where do you think his headspace is right now, Luke?
Oh, I think he's under pressure. Absolutely. But I also think that he's smart and patient and realizes that the decisions he makes in the next 2 weeks aren't just for the Maple Leafs. They're also for his resume, for what his next job may be after this, if they don't get out of the first round. So I would be very surprised if he did something reckless. I take him at his word when he says that he's not going to trade his first round pick or Matthew Nyes, his top prospect, who isn't signed, for a rental. I do think if he were to go that big, we're talking, Timo Meier, something like that. I think he's going to be very cautious when it comes to rentals, and that's why you hear names like Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty and Barbashev and these guys that might not move the needle, but are the safe play.
I mean, we had a little bit of a chit chat before the break here, and to me, the do nothing sort of play for the future's sake walks you into a loss, and then you got contracts up on Matthews and Nylander, and you're never guaranteed to be back in this position. It is going to be fascinating to see if Dubas feels the same desperation I'm talking about to sort of, you got to push chips in here a little bit. What are your thoughts on what Tampa Bay is and the perceived gap between them and Toronto, who I'll remind people in their show are currently ahead of them in the standings?
Yeah, well, to me,
by a point.
Well, just pointing that out.
There's three main things to me that where Tampa has the edge, and they're three really important things. One is the goaltender. Ilya Samsonov has one playoff game win.
All right. I didn't know he had any.
Vasilevsky, and he's lost 6 playoff games. That's his record. That's his experience.
Oh, my God.
And he's already admitted to us bouts of nervousness, like going up against his old team, thrown in, and I don't blame him for it, but the game where he was thrown in suddenly, impromptu, when Matt Murray went down with his ankle. And just, you compare that to the, nerves of steel that Vasilevsky has and the resume Vasilevsky has. That concerns me if I'm a Leaf fan. The second thing is the bottom 6. Tampa has stars. Toronto has stars. We all know that Toronto's big 4 stars have to perform in the playoffs. They have to carry this team. But you just look at Tampa's third line right now, and it's Colton, Paul, Nemesnikov. You look at their fourth line, has experience and, nastiness, and Maroon, Belmar, Perry. And the Leafs are running this, trotting out Marlies and bringing in new Marlies every other week and just still having tryouts. There is no identity to the bottom 6. And, that's all due respect. I think Camp's a good player. I think Engvall has his moments, all these things. But just there's a consistency and an experience in that bottom 6 that would frighten the life out of me. And I think Kyle's going to address it. I just don't know if he's going to address it directly by seeking out a couple cheap bottom 6 guys or by getting someone in for a second line that bumps people down. But that has to be addressed. And the other thing is mental. This is a team that knows what it takes. The other team thinks that it has what it takes and hopes that it can figure it out. The confidence hanging around a Tampa dressing room, same with Boston, it'll blow your mind.
The one thing that we all agreed on pretty much at the start of the show, that it was a bit of a throwaway game. And Luke, you didn't have to go far from Sheldon Keefe to understand that he put zero stock in last night's game for reading or evaluating much of anything. But the one thing that I did get out of last night was that when it came to the offense, it's still last night against Chicago, who looked like an American Hockey League team. You had to go to Nylander, Tavares, and Matthews to score, and you didn't get anything out of a third line. No Engvall to be found, no Camp, no fourth line contributions at all. If they don't score, If the big boys don't score and carry it, and last night was another example of it, outside of 2 goals from Timmins and Sandin, they don't win.
And what if one of them's hurt, right? Like, even in that 5-game stretch without Matthews, they looked like a completely different team. They went 2-3. You know, they had a couple nice moments, a couple good games, but over a 7-game series against a legitimate team, forget about it. I mean, we saw it with Tavares in the Montreal series. So this is all goes down to roster design in my mind. It's not basketball, it's hockey, and you put all your eggs in 4 baskets. And those guys better be healthy and they better perform, or else you have nothing there. You have nothing there to pick you up during those lulls. And I think it's a serious concern.